All right, welcome to McBoss Capital. Today is November 25th. Market closed yesterday, early on Friday. This week is quite quiet, not much news because of U.S. Thanksgiving. Yeah, so the Dow topped the 35,000 level. So let me just jump to the chart right away just to see what that looks like. So yeah, so here it is, and 35,000 is right here. So yeah, so this week it was able to pass that level, and Dow, you can see it's moving closer and closer to this year's high. So we're not that far away. So this is actually a good looking chart for Dow. S&P and Nasdaq closed above their recent highs. So let's go look at that. Nasdaq. So yeah, right here. So pretty close. Yeah, so there's this high, but the more higher highs right here. So it's still, a little bit behind for Nasdaq. Below that level. S&P, same thing. It's higher than this one, but it's still a little bit away from this one. So they're all approaching. All three of them are approaching this year's high. So those are good signs. The other thing IBD keep talking about is the power trend. So power trend happens when the index are above 10-day, 21-day, 50-day, and it has at least climbed above the 50-day for I think 5 sessions. And so now this is a power trend now. I don't really know the significance of power trend other than it just means bullish. So until it breaks this pattern, probably that's what they're still in a longer term trend, a bullish trend. But yeah, I think we're getting close to this high here. Pretty sure we'll get tested. Whether we reach it or not, I don't know. But if we do reach it, I think we're probably gonna get tested soon. Yeah. I mean, there's some signs that so let's I think IBD talk about the wicks. So the wicks is at pretty much year low now. I think it passed that this week, and usually when there's no fear at all, that usually kind of can be how do you say contradict that. So it might start to bounce here eventually. So because normally you don't see this trend last long, but even here it broke this, and then it broke this, and then it bounced here, and then came back down. So you see it tested one more time here, and then it went back up. So there's always some sort of test, even if it's a longer term downtrend. But right now we're at a really low level, right? We're not at the higher level, so we're way past that. So we are pretty low. If we go weekly, look at this. This is 3-year low, man. Almost. Yeah. So they're saying this is super weird, right? Like that it is as low as pre-pandemic. So we're getting to the point where this number 12 or 11 is seems to be the the bottom for wicks, right? So yeah, I think it's it's not a bad thing to think about taking profit. I think just because there's no wicks, there's no fear at all. People are not fearing, and the run ran up so fast. I think I have notes here. Somewhere I don't know. Actually, maybe I didn't put it down. Yeah, basically they're up. Nasdaq is up 11% in November. That's crazy, right? But if you go to Nasdaq monthly chart, Like it's up. Yeah, see 10.89%. It's one of the strongest months. I don't remember the last one. It's probably here. This is the pandemic rebound here. But probably you won't find another long bar. See, like let me see this one. This one's 4%. This one is, yeah, see, this is 3-4%. So I don't think you will find another long bar like this one. So this is like one of the best months since a long time ago. So yeah, so there's lots of indicators that kind of, you know, it's potentially, you know, we might be near the temporarily anyway top here, and then we'll have to get tested here. So something to be aware of, I think. Yeah, because we had 4 weeks up pretty much the whole November. That's why it went up 11%, which is really good performance for. So this week, I don't know. We have 4 more days left of this month. Whether it will go up more or stay at this level, but yeah. But generally, I haven't seen too much distribution yet on stocks. So so that's still a good sign. So on Tuesday, we had Nvidia result. That was the big news, and they beat pretty much on all the matrix, I think. And like if I go to the forecast here for next month, next quarter, it's still at 300%. So if we go back Nvidia chart here, so from the next one will be January. 300% will be like, yeah, it'll be like almost $3 or something, which is pretty high for that quarter. Yeah, so it's still very high. There's one more note here. So the problem with why it didn't move much this week is because they did say they will, the U.S. trade restrictions will hurt them in China for this coming quarter revenue, and also they will be delaying the launch of an AI chip from China. So that also kind of not good news. So it has pulled back. So let's look at the chart. So here it is, right? You can see the relative strength is going down now, compared to S&P. Yeah, and I don't like the Friday move, because even though it's a short day, on Friday move, like on Thursday is trying to hold on the 10-day, and then on so you could discount this day and see how it moves on Friday, but Friday it just closed at the bottom, right? Like it found resistance again at 10-day and it closed at the bottom. So I don't like that. So I sold my shares, Nvidia. Yeah, like, you know, the others, like, I don't know what's happening, right? Like the other stock that is also getting really weak signal is Palantir. So this one also, you know, almost similar pattern. You see, Thursday it tried to hold on 10-day, and then Friday it just couldn't even stay above 10-day for a second, and it pretty much closed near the bottom. So like these two stocks are really AI driven, and then obviously there's Microsoft. So Microsoft is still trying to hold, but I don't know. The R is starting to weaken. It's not as bad as the other two, but yeah. So this one still looks okay, you know, because you see how it keep making new highs, and then on Friday it also closed at the top too. So even though it was a down day, so that again, this chart looks a lot better than the other two. So. And you know, probably which we probably haven't talked about is the Sam Altman of OpenAI. Like Satya Nadella did a really good job in trying to calm the market and calm investors' fear about, you know, potentially losing the founder and how OpenAI can work and all that. So at the end he went back, and somehow Microsoft was able to rearrange the board and stuff like that and get him back on the company. So I think that's part of the reason why we can see the stock keep closing near the top on the up days, and then even on Friday down day it still closed at the top. So I think investors are seeing great confidence in how they handle this situation, and that they're still potentially on track to become the leader in AI, right? So at least on the software side. So yeah, so I think Microsoft looks a lot better. So yeah, those are the three stocks that I feel AI related. It's very interesting how they move right now. Yeah. Wednesday, I don't remember what happened Wednesday. Friday, so market is up 4 straight weeks now. Yeah, S&P. Now we ought to look at those index. Russell. Yeah, let's take a look at Russell. So Russell actually did a good job on Friday. Yeah, he did well on Fridays. Yeah, compared to the other. And obviously we still have this big resistance here, 200 day. So if we pass this, I think the coast is clear. Rally will continue, but I don't know, man. It seems like it's just getting stuck at this range right now. This is the pendant type of formation, so it might stick in here until eventually it either go that way or go this way, up or down, right? So it's doing this pendant formation right now, basically no man's land, and yeah, so who knows which way it's gonna go. But yeah, I just don't like the Russell right now. The chart just looks so volatile, even after this recent bounce, right? Like even this bounce is like very volatile. But yeah, once it passed through this resistance, I would say, at least for Russell, the bull is on. And if the Russell is doing, because the small caps are probably the ones that are most affected if a recession comes, because smaller companies have a harder time dealing with recession than big companies do. So this is probably an indication of that. So we'll have to see, right? So that's one thing. And then the oil price, US oil. So that's also a sign of recession, and it's clearly in a downtrend now. This is a pretty steep downtrend, 45-degree angle. So if it doesn't come back up, then this downtrend will keep going. So for a long time. So something to be aware of. The dollar also on the downtrend. This looks like a very steep downtrend actually. So that's that. And then the 10-year yield is also on the steep. So all three are now correlated. So yeah, and if it just keep going down, it's good news for the long-term mortgage. It'll come down to 4. Some people don't think it'll come down to 4, but if it continues this trend, it might. So yeah, we'll see. But this does drive the market. This 10-year, the 10 seems to be very correlated. But yeah, hard to say what this is going. And then probably the one that I don't know. Some people pay attention. Is the Bitcoin? The crypto area is just phenomenal right now. It's just on a really nice uptrend. Yeah, just look at this. It just broke out again on Friday, Thursday, and then Friday followed through. Really powerful. The volume wasn't there as much though. It's kind of weird. But this was the accumulation area right here, and then consolidate. And then it moves higher right here, volume again, and then now it's consolidating. But this time it breaks out, no volume, so I'm not sure what that means. So it might be near a junction where it might need to consolidate more. When volume doesn't show up, usually that's the sign that things are near the top, at least temporarily. So yeah, so that's that. The one stock I have that related to Bitcoin is this one. So it kind of moved out on Friday following the Bitcoin story, but it didn't make a new high though, so that's kind of disappointing actually. Overall, this the trend of this chart is still good, right? Like it's not breaking any short-term moving average right here, and then there's the 21-day. So it's still a very nice slope here. So so I'll hold until it gives me some sign of selling, but I haven't seen it. But I think like yeah, I don't know. Like right now, if we want to think a little bit longer term, if December, again, I don't know how December is gonna play out, but let's say November is gonna end near this level, and then December, if it start out with a bang again, like I would say, that would be good, right? That would be really good. And then Christmas time, usually we have a year-end rally too. So my guess is like, first week of December up, and then second week of December kind of down because of this Fed meeting, because people will fear something will happen. And then after the Fed meeting, maybe nothing will happen, same story again, and then it'll rally again, right, by year-end. So that's kind of my hope, is that it'll continue to rally to year-end in general. So if that's the case, then some of these stocks, they probably will run up even further, and we'll talk about like climax run there, right? So like when there's no climax run, basically the slope is like pretty much a straight line on the lower range. But when you start to have a climax run, it starts to like look more parabolic. So let's just jump to one stock that I'm starting to see that, like LPG. This is oil gas transport pipeline stock, and you can see like the slope, if you draw the bottom, it's starting to slope like much higher now, and then now you can see like now the slope is like this, right? So it's starting to do this parabolic move, and usually that's what climax run look like. It'll close like really, it'll have like a week or two of like really strong run, like like easily over 20 to 50% run in a couple of weeks. That's when like the climax run is starting to get there. Probably the best example is probably SMCI this year, right here. So this one doesn't look as parabolic though. So so here you can see this is, okay, let me just refresh this. This one actually, so it did this, and then here it did this, right? And then it paused. That's when it pulled back, but then it found support at 10-21 day, and then it went up again. So this one actually looked not too bad. It's not as parabolic, but even this one kind of started to correct, right? So SMCI, I don't mind this pattern, but it's getting to the point where like the relative trend line has been weak the last 2 weeks. Like the last how many sessions? Like 7 sessions here. It's been very weak, like in my opinion, right? So that's one thing I don't like. But it does still look okay, because it hasn't, it's still holding this 10-day, almost near the 10-21 day average. So right now it's getting to a point where like, if it's like almost like near the time limit, in my opinion. It's like if it doesn't move soon, I would say it probably have a higher chance of going down. And because of the relative strength is much weaker in the market, like the last 7 sessions, I feel like this has more risk now. So I think I hold it somewhere and I sold it now. So I'm not holding this anymore. So yeah, it's just not as strong as I want it to be. So that's yeah. Anyhow, this is not really a climax run, like unless you want to count this part here. But this is like first leg, second leg. Most of the time, climax run has like at least 3 legs, like 3 slopes that kind of keep sloping higher and higher. But LPG is doing that now. It's starting to do that now. So this is the first leg, second leg, and then now this is the third leg now. So so yeah, we'll see how far it goes. So I'm starting to trim this guy just to lock in some profit yeah, it's getting like, you can see the 200-day line, the 50-day line is starting to curve up really fast, and then when you look at the 10 days, like, yeah. So yeah, surprise. But this stock has probably my best stock right now in my portfolio. So stocks index on IBD 50. So yeah, this index is really, represent growth. Like, this is IBD 50 stocks that they track every week. And I mean, it has bounced, but when you look at the weekly chart, it doesn't look like it did much, right, compared to the index. So I don't like it. I don't like it. And yeah, and even in recent sessions, I feel like it should have went up more, but it didn't. So, but there's lots of blue bars on volume. So that's one good sign. Yeah, so there's a lot more blue bar volume. But it's just in general, this index hasn't performed well, and that's a sign of, like, stocks just not making much headway. Like, they'll go up and then they'll come back down, and then probably IBD keep refreshing the list, and then another stock will go up, and then 1 week later they'll go down, and so it's not making much headway. Normally you want to see the stocks in the top 50 just keep moving and moving and moving, right? Like, becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. But this is not happening, at least not from IBD 50. So that's not a good sign. Next week we have PCE on Thursday, so that'll be important. And then Friday, Powell will be speaking at some conference somewhere, some college here. So he'll probably reflect a little bit on this PCE number, depending. But I think market will react on Thursday for sure. So that's a day to pay attention to. Yeah. So that's that. I haven't looked enough at many stocks yet this weekend, so I can't say for sure whether the market is broadening or not. But we can go look at the IBD chart on the accumulation on the index, because that's usually a good sign there. So for S&P, the accumulation is at B+, so it's pretty good. And then the advanced decline line is what we want to look at, how many stocks moving up versus down. And you can see it finally, like, move out of this range this week. Finally. Because last week we were talking about this and it was lagging. And this week, the S&P finally, kind of move higher. So that's on Thursday and Friday. So you see the move is actually much stronger than the index, which is good. It's a good sign. So, of course, those are lower volume days because of the holiday. But if this trend can continue, that'll be probably a good sign of the market breadth broadening. So we'll have to keep paying attention to that. Nasdaq is still trying to move out. It's still almost at this same level right here. So it's still relatively weak compared to the index itself. So Nasdaq still having problems, I think. Yeah, and then like this week, I'll show you on this screen here on my interactive brokers. This week we have lots of tech stocks reporting. I was actually surprised. So we have Zscaler, we have CrowdStrike, we have Okta. So those are all the security stocks. We have Intuit. You can see I have a little share there. You have PDD. That's more of an internet retail stock in China. Splunk, which already been acquired by Cisco. Workday, Pure Storage, NetApp. So those are data storage, data center stuff, data storage. And then we have Synopsys on design software. So that's one of my bigger positions. CRM or HP and CRM or Salesforce. Yeah, so Salesforce reporting. And then we have Dell, we have Marvel Technologies. So all these tech companies, I'm actually surprised how many tech companies reporting this week. And they're pretty much like, most of these are pretty big too. So I would think this will move the market this week, based on some of these earnings. So yeah, And on the retail side, we have discount stores, so Dollar Tree and Big Lot. So that'll be also interesting on whether, I think those guys are doing pretty well right now. Like I don't own them, but they're starting to bounce back. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's not very strong. It's just, it is bouncing back. Okay, this one that's good actually. Dollar General, that one will report a week after, so this one is slowly bouncing back. Yeah. So these guys, yeah, like these guys, they tend to move, like this guy had come down a lot, but you can see on the weekly chart, it's now starting to climb up the right side. Go back to Dollar Tree. Yeah, so these kind of. And those guys are recession proof, right? Because these are discount retailers. So if there's a recession, it won't even impact them much. Yeah. I can't remember the actual story why they all came down, but I think, yeah, I'm not quite understand that. So yeah, so that is. Let me jump to overall the market trend for accumulation is still pretty healthy. So last week we have huge numbers here, and this week we have 100 to 200 accumulation on stocks, and then industry group about 40 level average. And then on the sector side, they're not accumulate as much as last week, but they're still okay numbers, like 30 to 40, and it's pretty broad in terms of like not one sector dominating. And then commodity is the worst out of all the sectors right now. So yeah, overall it's healthy in that sense. So let's look at the CN Fear Greed Index. It's at 68. So it's, at least the overall indicator is not extreme greed yet, but some of the underlying indicators like market momentum is at extreme greed, stock price trend is at greed level, price breadth is at greed level, put call options, interesting. So this one is probably a significant factor. So there's extreme greed right now. Volatility, we already talked about that, the wicks. This one, I don't know why it's set at neutral. Interesting. Yeah, and then the bond demand, neutral, extreme greed. AAII continue to climb this week to 45%. So not quite at the 50%, but it's getting closer. And the bearishness is at 23%. Yeah, I don't know what the average is, but anyhow, it's not very high for sure. I don't know what the lowest is. It doesn't say here. And then we look at Atlanta Fed estimate hasn't changed this week yet, 2.1%. So it's still doing pretty good, 2%. So the ones at the top here, this is filtered by technology stocks, and they're all hitting new highs. So you can see Duolingo, MSTR, CrowdStrike reporting this week. FICO, Zscaler also reporting. So you can see two big giants here like reporting this week. Now, ServiceNow, Synopsys also reporting this week. Datadog, Palo Alto, Cyber. So many security stocks here. SAP, Mobileye, Monday, Globe, and F5. So all these are hitting new highs this week on relative strength. So that's like really good closing on the week. And then in the second tier here, you have like more normal RS right now. ALKT, MDB, Meta, Shop, Adobe, CDNS, Infa, Intuit, CRM, Pega, DY. And then there's some that are kind of starting to, fall off a little bit, like we talked about Nvidia, Palantir, even Net is starting to heading down the relative strength. So yeah, so there's some weakness now you see in some of the leaders, but generally overall it's still pretty healthy. Yeah, so let's jump and look at a few of the stocks here. Let's look at Duolingo. Duolingo is like 4 weeks up now or something, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 weeks up, just like the market is. And it hasn't gave up any gains so far, which is unbelievable. And then this pullback here was so clean, it didn't even touch the 10-day. That's how clean it is. So, you know, if you fear that, you know, market is, you know, maybe time to almost like, you know, pull back or something, I would say this stock is like, you know, a good, you know, good to have a stop near the 10-day, right, or slightly below it. Yeah, so I don't know how most people want to play this, but you know, yeah. But you know, the good thing is Friday it tried to move out again. The Friday's volume is so low because, you know, of the half day, so it's hard to tell, right? But Thursday it did have higher volume here, so that's the good news. And then it did have a higher close on Friday, so, you know, just based on the technical chart, it just looks like it wants to continue to move, right? So again, very strong stock. This is probably, you know, one of the leading AI stocks, you can call it, because they're using a lot of AI for language learning now. So, then I think the big story is they're expanding into other type of learning, not just language now. Like they're teaching math and stuff like that now. So they could expand the market significantly because of that. Yeah. So I think overall this stock is just, you know, really good stock to you know, to probably hold if you want to hold this long. You know, the 50 days right here, right? So generally, if you want to be a longer term holder, your stop would be like near the 50-day. But the problem is that it is so far above the 50-day. If it comes back down, you're gonna give up a lot of gain, right? So yeah. So that's, you know, up to you, depends on what kind of trader you are. But yeah. So but it looks like it wants to move again. So we'll see. This is a very brief test, like almost a few days of 4 or 5 days of test here, and it definitely seems to hold the $200 level. Yeah, and like I said, it's got really strong relative strength. Definitely a leader in the market right now. Yeah, CrowdStrike is reporting this week, so this crowd is probably the favorite for institutions just because they're much bigger, 50 billion cap, and you know, yeah, it just continue to make new high every week, and you know the numbers are super strong. We'll see if they deliver again. Yeah, it's just nice. This is stock that's probably more smooth selling at this moment, but again, earnings could change everything, so we gotta be careful. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I say like a few stocks that Jim Ropel mentioned that, you know, if you were Bill O'Neill, which stock would he own? This would be one of them. ServiceNow.
Yeah.
This guy is you know, starting to become a giant, 138 billion, and this chart just looked perfection. Like I would say this is like a perfection type of chart, because it breaks out from a cup and handle base and then move up, and then now it breaks out from a double bottom base and then it moves up. Like it just works, right? Like it just, there's no ambiguity whether it's you know, work or not. Like you can clearly see every time it breaks out, the institution comes in. Every time it breaks out, institution comes in. So this is the kind of stock that like big institutions want to hold, and those are usually much safer, less volatility. Really nice stock to hold. Yeah, Hypnosis. I also like this one. I also have full position on this. You know, it took a couple of tries, but you know, this time it finally worked. Again, it's reporting this week, so we'll see how it's gonna do. Datadog. This stock had built this giant cup with handle really, I don't even call this a handle no more, but it does draw it here. But anyhow, this is probably the more recent base, a double bottom base, and it looks really nice, like because it did break out this double bottom, and since that it has climbed nicely. So it's a very good chart. Volume is there, definitely on the day of an earnings report. Again, 10 days seems to be the driving force right now. So yeah, continue to look at that. One stock that okay, sure, before I go to that one, let's go to S&P. Yeah, S&P is very similar to ServiceNow, right? Like they're both giant enterprise software company that deals with, a lot of the what we call ERP systems and stuff like that. And so same thing. You can see this is institution quality. It breaks out and like it just constantly going up. The volume is okay. This one has 1 day here. Yeah, again, this chart is the slope is very crazy right now. Yeah, it's moving up really fast. The next one is Mobileye. This one has, a lot of people hate trading this stock because it's just super volatile. Like there's really, like you can't even try to hold this like this. It's just not gonna work. So, yeah. But this time, I feel something has changed a little bit because it's the first time it has 4 bars moving up, so it does reflect the relative strength, same as for the market. So I don't know. We'll see if this time actually finally will make it. But it has. I think a lot of people have stopped trading this stock because just every time you get in, you just get knocked out, right? Because it just doesn't move much enough for you to even consider a nice profit unless you're really short term. So this is yeah. So let's see if we can hold this 10-day slope here, and break out for once. But if it does break out, I would say, like, because this is such a long trend, that if it breaks out, it's going to be a big move. Like when it IPO, you see the move is very significant, like double basically. So I will assume the same thing will happen if it break out of this. But again, it's still not that close. Still have some work to do. But the relative strength is really strong right now. Yeah, MDB, very strong as well. So it's climbing up the right side finally. So nice cup base. So this is also probably also a nice chart because again every time it breaks out it just moves nicely. So again it's going to come down to whether it will break out. So that'll be important. On the daily chart, yeah, it's like I said, it's moving really nice. The slope is look like this right now. So as long as you keep holding this slope, it'll probably break out. We're gonna look at Meta just to see how it looks like. Meta is looking pretty good right now because it broke out and it hold, right? That's exactly what you want to see. It broke out and it pulled back so slightly, and look at those 2 days it pulled back. It just didn't want to come down. So this chart is not moving fast right now. It's like you can see the relative strength is stagnant, but it's not going down either. So it's just slowly moving up. Yeah. Shopify, Adobe. Let's look at Adobe. Yeah, we're similar to other giants here. It's near new high. This one's at new high ground, so definitely strong. Look at how fast it's getting close to this. I don't know if that's the all-time high. I'm gonna guess it is. Yeah, getting close. Look at that. Yeah, look at Shopify as well. Shopify has a really strong slope as well right now. Yeah, doing really well. Yeah. So which are the tech stock we haven't looked at? Let's see here. Let's look at Uber. So yeah, Uber looking really good. You can see the 10-day slope right here. You go look at the weekly chart. Yeah, this is like moving fast. I'm surprised how fast it's moving. And look at monthly. Yeah, this is a really nice big cup with handle pattern. Really big cup handle pattern. So it broke out this handle here, and hence this month is so bullish. So from a longer term perspective, this looks really good. And then in the short term, even in the short term, it looks like it's gunning for the new highs, right? So, this high, is that the new high? March 21. Yeah, that is the new high. So, yeah, so he's gunning for it. It looks like he wants to gun for it. So around 60 level. Yeah. So yeah, this looks really strong. Look at these numbers here. It's just really strong. And yeah, and I think Uber is doing lots of stuff. I know from the app I recently looked at it, they introduced like cash reward now or something. So that's interesting. Yeah, so I think they're doing everything right. So this EDU stock, China education stock, the education stocks are very interesting. They just continue to move. You can see Friday make another move on quite a bit of volume too, even though half a day. So this trend just continues. It's just you know, very nice long trend for a weekly chart. So this is Chinese stock, obviously. LRN is yeah, in US. So this one is also doing very well. Look at this, right? So there's something happening with all the education stocks right now. They're just really moving nicely. Yeah. Okay, that's Powell on the industrial side. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this one, aerospace defense. So this one is starting to move like really nicely as well on the weekly chart. You see the slope here. Here's the trend. So the aerospace defense, just really strong numbers fundamentally. Wing, this chart almost like the Uber chart. Like this one already make new high, so it's actually better than Uber. Look at this, it make new high right here this month. Sorry. So yeah, surprise Wingstop. So numbers are decent, and yeah, I mean this is a long base, right? I mean this is a very brutal base, but now that it broke out, it looks like it can move now. So that's that one. Yeah, I think no one talks about this stock much as they should, which is Netflix. Look, it's trying to break out right now. Pretty close. I don't know if it did. I don't think it did yet. Pretty close. 485. So this chart, I would say, is one of the best chart. I think just because how steep this is, and then on the right side it just go back up so steep as well. So that's why I think from that perspective it looks really good. Yeah, Netflix. I think they might be onto something. We'll see if their numbers continue to turn around. That's probably, that'll probably. I don't see many investors talking about this, so that's a good thing, because I feel like, by the time people will start talking about more, it'll probably jump much higher. So, on the health side, we have the two giants, Lilly and Novartis. In the obesity drugs, I think they're probably in a long-term uptrend. If this obesity drug continues to do well, I think more and more people is gonna jump into the bandwagon and wonder. Even around my friends, I can't believe how many of my friends are already on this drug. I can't believe it, man. It's crazy.
No.
Yeah, in Canada, like, and I don't even know how to get it. Like, some of them, I think you're supposed to have diabetes in order to get it, but I don't know, man. Some people, and I'm seeing results. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm seeing them like losing lots of weight. So it is working, and the more people know about it, the more people are gonna jump on this bandwagon, I feel like. So that's Novartis. It kind of broke out again on Friday. So I took a position there. Lilly, it hasn't broke out yet, but it's getting. So I guess Novartis is slightly better because it broke out first. But this one breaks out, I'll probably also take a position. So both of those are kind of tied to the obesity drugs. So then we have Race, Ferrari. This is Uber like, right? This is Uber like chart, break to new high, like almost similar, like Wingstop kind of thing. Yeah. So this one broke out this month as well. So yeah, really good charts. There's Apollo Financial stock here. Another enzyme, DSX, Collate. Yeah. ANF. So I have a full position on this guy, and this week it reported, and it was a huge shakeout. When they report, it went down to 21 day, and then it bounced back up. I couldn't believe it. I don't know whether this will keep going, but after this shakeout, there's a high chance you want to keep going. And this is starting to look a little bit climax, right? You can see the gap between 50-day and 200-day, and the gap between 21. Like, it's starting to widen. So if the slope starts to go like this, then it's probably getting to the point of like, yeah, it's starting to get more. The slope's getting steeper and steeper. So this is probably, if it does run again, this is probably the last leg. Yeah, but this stock has just been running for a long time. This is by far probably the best chart in the whole market right now for this size. And then we have DraftKings, also another strong chart. That's one thing I like about this rally so far, is we're seeing so many strong charts. It reminds me a lot of, if you roll this back, right, to 2021 or 2020. Let me see. Yeah, it reminds me a lot like this, right? When it broke out, it doesn't want to give back, right? Eventually, you see it got to this level. That's a lot, right? From like, what, 18 to 40, 45, or 44 or something. That's more than double, So if we use that same, I don't know if it's going to be the same. I'm just saying, if it does give similar performance, then we can kind of say, hey, if it breaks out here, it's at 34, it should go to like 68 or something, right? Like, something like that. But, who knows? I don't know if this is going to be a strong of a rally, but that's something, but it feels that way anyway right now. So that's true for many of the similar stocks. Yeah. This stock is keep coming up my radar. BRBR, like, it's the cosmetics personal care group. Similar to ELF, right? But the difference between this and ELF now. So this is also on a long-term run. So look at how it built a nice base here, pretty flat. I'm surprised, 9% base, and then it broke out again and keep running, and now it's starting to look a little bit more climatic run because it broke out of the upper channel line. So there's more risk now, but what I like about this stock is, so Friday gave back. But what I like about this stock is how different it is compared to ELF. So let's look at ELF, right? Because ELF was the leader as well. And we look at the long-term chart here. So same thing, right? Like, this guy ran out, built a nice tight base, and ran again, built a very small base here, and then ran again. But this guy has fallen apart almost, you know. It's trying to come back right now, but you know, it's nowhere close to the high, right? And that's the difference. Whereas BRBR is already at, you know, super high right now. So, yeah, so that's why, like, I'm not sure, like, whether, I think this stock will probably top when the market top. But right now, there's something behind this that's making this much stronger than L. So that, for that reason, I feel like, you know, it's a better stock. We're looking at Uber. So the travel stocks are still doing not bad. Light Wonder. Yeah, Light Wonder also, you know, also always keep coming back to my screen, but this is a smaller, like, wow, 7 billion. It's not that small, actually, surprisingly. But yeah, this chart is not bad. It's not bad. It's like, it's holding so tight. Like, I'm surprised how tight it is. Look at this. This is almost like Meta type of Meta stock, like how tight it is trading. Like almost like this. Look at how tight that is. So I'm surprised. Like, so Light Wonder, I would watch this stock because like this guy has potential. Right now it's kind of weak. You can see the relative strength, but you look at this. It just keeps sloping higher, like the ties, but really slow though. Like that's why the relative strength is not moving higher. But the fact that it can hold after this earnings result is a good sign. It might have potential. Yes. Raw store. So for the retail side, it's very interesting, right? It's like there's like half of the stores are doing really bad and half of the stores are doing really good. Raw store is a discount retailer, so they are doing really well. So if you think like consumers are going to spend less, they'll probably look at more discount stuff. So that's why Raw. So IBD was talking about this stock, how this is a 100-fold stock. So from 08 you can see, right? Not 100-fold. Yeah, well, from even longer ago, you go back further. But this is at least from 08 it's a 10-fold stock at least now. So yeah, and look like it's wanting to break out, you see. So if this breaks out, it might start another big run. So this is yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they were able to show like going back to the 90s, it's like over 100-fold. So it's probably one of the best performing stock the last 20-30 years. Yeah, and then the other one that I don't follow is Decker. They're doing really well too. You can see on the monthly chart. Yeah, it broke out and it's just nice slope right now. So yes. Let's look at ANET. I haven't looked at ANET in a while.
ANET,
yeah. That one, yeah. So it did break out, and yeah, moving slowly. It's not bad. It's not a bad looking chart. Yeah. So this is also like turn around. So you know, this one thing that I've learned this recent quarter is that most of them didn't react until the earnings day, right? After the earnings. And that just showed that investors are really scared of bidding up any stock, right? Without the numbers. So that's why I think the market, this just tells me that the market is very nervous, right, about the numbers. And so, you know, so that's why, like, you know, when Nvidia talked down their numbers, like, it's not a good sign, right? Like, people are worried, you know. So yeah, like this is now the slope of the trend, even though it's just a few days. It's almost 45-degree angle. So yeah, I don't know if it's gonna turn back up again.